Hey guys, welcome back. And this is the final episode. We are going to come hell or high water. We're going to make it through this. We're going to finish the series on Ermor. So buckle in, stay tuned, and let's go. We have miscellaneous dudes dying to horrors and with utter dark and the cataclysm up. Basically, everybody who dies, you're not getting back that costs gold, because you're not hiring any more of those dudes. Archbishop wrecks this dude. Here we got a throne attack. That's the one we just took from Ashdod. This guy's kind of cool. Hey, where the hell did he go? I have to zoom out here. Can't see a goddamn thing. Hello! What's also nice is just having Underdark cast every fight. Oh, what a spooky, spooky dude. He is taking some hits though, for sure. He's down to 23. Yoink. Got him, coach. Okay, killed more of Ashdod's limited mages. Yeah, he's just getting ground down here. Killed more stuff. And we have a battle between Ashdod and Yis here. Which is kind of interesting. This must be dudes with gate cleavers and stuff. Oh. Well, we can look real quick. Be a little hard to tell. I don't know how he could have popped this so fast if it wasn't for gate cleavers. The summit. I imagine he would have put them on his good dudes. But so far I don't see any. Maybe there's other chaff he's left outside. But yeah, it's a pretty homely force inside here for Yes. Pillars of Fire coming down, doing absolute work. Yeah, the Pillars of Fire here are just brutal. But what we can see is the flames from the sky have stopped. He might bank up for one more salvo before the game ends, but they're basically out. We don't really have... We're building up an army where we might be able to put this back under siege. He is patrolling with everything. So we're not going to put some, like, shit stack on top that's going to kill it. We have to actually fight that army. And his stuff is generally going to be too tough for the silly, like, bone grinding shenanigans we did against CS. Like, that's not going to work here. These guys are too tough. Unless we had more. But there's kind of a limit with Rings of Returning that how many you can do that on. But yeah, you can see we're continuing to take much of his land. Though he has secured for himself this other throne. So that's basically what's happening. We're starting to stockpile Earth again. So, I don't know. I was using him to do Wizard Towers to continue the free spawn apocalypse. But I'm not sure what Tower X is going to do. And then 103... Oh, nice. We're getting some vampires. That is what I like to see. That is what I like to see. Spending those blood slaves. All right, perfect. We do have a very small blood economy going, as you will know. We got attacked here by Maker of Ruins and kill him. We got attacked here by Eater of Dreams and kill him. And... Nabah raiding us. I'm actually kind of interested to look and see where Nabaa is raiding. So if we look at it, Nabaa is raiding over along here. Okay, we're just attacking. We're actually mostly attacking them. I don't know if he has gin blocks around still. These gin blocks are fucking up my little long dead dudes, though. But yeah. Anyway, so I guess we're attacking Nabaa. Just got some of his stuff under siege. I mean, the underlying thing is Underdark is still up. There's another global spot though. I'm not sure what came down, what was up. I think he lost his Well of Misery caster. Is I think what happened. And yeah, that's basically that. We're going to keep going to the next turn until we have probably the big battle. Turn 104. Defiler of Dreams. This is what you need to survive the horrors, is you just have a Tartarian bodyguard. No problem. With a bunch of lictors. Easy. Ease. As they say. Losing a lot of dudes, though. Okay, here we get attacked by the Abomination of Desolation. Yeah, Jin block murdering all my stuff. These guys are really good against undead raiding. Yeah, Jin block and this other stuff murdering. It's really hard to raid into these guys with just conventional undead, as I figured out earlier in the game. Killing more chaff. Okay, and we don't have yet... You can see this loss we had at this turn was actually kind of a big deal. Because we don't have yet an army assembled to go back in on top of it. We're building one up here. I don't know, let's see how many lictors we have. 100 something. I'm wondering if we go on this Relayan throne. I'm not seeing over here enough lictors to do that either. Yeah, I don't know where lictor production is moving off to. Where the hell are our dudes? Wait, where are all of our archbishops? I feel like they've been moved. Okay, there's a patch of them here. There was a swath of them over here. Oh man, I'm gonna have to ask, because this was my archbishop province, unless we moved them. Because he didn't move these guys. One second, I'm gonna have to check real quick. I'm gonna pause. Okay, so we're back, and I don't know, I found 12 of them here in Black Harbor, and then there's the ones over here in Kamia. But I'm pretty sure I had a lot more than that. I'm pretty sure I had a huge stack here. Some of them have been moved out, but I'm not... I'd be interested to know. I don't know how many we've lost, but I feel like we had a lot more lictor production earlier. So I don't know what's happened. I know we've lost at least a couple to Hars. We probably had to use a few more in some of these wars, and we've lost some battles, so... it could be they got killed with flames from the sky, which would be really sad. Because killing... That's one of the reasons we put these lictors hidey hold away back here, was to hide them from stuff like flames from the sky. I didn't want them to know where my lictor factory was, and I didn't want them all in one province. So if we put them all in an army, which I kind of want to go back and check. I kind of want to go back and check. I'm going to pause and we're going to go back and check. Okay, I went back and checked, and I can't find where they were. So possibly I'm misremembering how many were here, but, you know, there were some that were lost, like a couple that were lost in each of these fights, but that's not that big of a deal. I'm wondering, like, I feel like we're missing like 15 or 20. Anyway, The war rages on in the desperate plight of Ashdod. I think for thrones, it's still 14. The other thing is, if anybody else loses a throne now, I win. Because I think am I at 6? Yeah, I'm at 6. So if any of these other thrones fall, then Taurek wins. Taurek and I. And here he's defending this. So we'll see, though, because he's got a lot to defend now. But you can see how things have kind of slowed down. Like, we're not attacking again. I don't know. We're still putting on raiding pressure. But I don't know. Everybody, I think, right now is just trying to defend their thrones, which is it's the unfortunate kind of late game meta for when Cataclysm comes. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and go to turn 105, which I think is the final turn. And I think at this point everybody votes me the winner. Yeah, I think that's basically what happens here. So there's no major movement. There's no troop movement. More stuff is not. We've got Ashdod under siege now with a big army. I don't know what he has here to defend against it. But yeah, I think basically at this point everybody votes Ermor the winner. There's no way, and I'll be interested. I don't know what the dispel attempts were, but there's no way for anybody to win against a position 1 Ermor with the biggest that's position 1 Ermor with Utter Dark. It's an impossible thing. Maybe like Scaleria could, but mostly it's impossible. Maybe a super well entrenched Blood Nation could. So with that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at score graphs. So provinces, we were just unparalleled big, right? We just got big and big and big and big and big and big and big. Could we have gone for a throne rush? Probably not. I don't think we could have won it too much sooner because we were way behind in tech. If we look at the tech, we don't have the tech graphs. That sucks. But we're way behind in tech, guys. Way behind. So we were not going to just be able to like go pluck thrones off of Ashdod or something like we would have needed to do to win, or pluck thrones off Relay. There's just no time that was ever going to happen. But we just ground our way to victory is what basically happened. And the only person Ashdod and Relay could have been contenders. At this point, they would have had to have either knocked me down or they would have had to have eaten one of the other 2 players, I think. And done it reasonably quickly. Because, like, the thing is, if they're not knocking me down, then I'm going to be eating. Which is fine if they're eating faster, but it's hard to eat faster than Ermor. So I don't really know what could have happened. I think if this is the thing. One option, and it's not something people consider much, but sometimes it's good to be in a 2-front war, like to be fighting 2 players at once. So like it could be all the players are fucking with me a little bit and they're also fighting each other. The problem with that is the player who fights me the least and dedicates more to fighting other players would win against the other players, and then they would grow while the other player who didn't cheat would shrink. So I don't know. It's But if you feel like you can fight a defensive war and maybe raid into Ermor or something so that, Ermor, it's going to cost them something to have that border, which is pretty hard to do because Ermor can raid really efficiently. Maybe you could do that. I'm not sure. Ultimately, this is like, this period right here is kind of the turning point in the game. There's a lot of activity happening. This is like the whole fight with Relay. But I don't think there's much of a world. Maybe it's possible that people could have made ground and like slowly torn down some forts. But the problem is I would have just taken them back. I think. Maybe the only way to win a game is through globals. Like somebody had to have Nexus up or something stupid. So I'm not even sure. I don't know the way to win here with these guys. I think by this point, I mean, I was in a pretty strong position one. I was like 30% ahead of the next player. And this player, by this time, I had beaten up all their stuff, which is why I got... This was basically getting all of Jotunheim. And then this was getting all of Yis. So... yeah, I don't know what plays people could have made by the time it got here. I'd be interested to know what y'all think. What do you think Relay and Ashdod and stuff could have done by this point in the game? Because before this, there was this was the name of this game is Radiation Therapy, right? And we played with all the cancer. We had Nazca in here. So like army size, here was Scalaria. Scalaria was going completely off the chains, right? Like they were just on a whole nother dimension of growth. Like this thing would have gone like this. They would have had my troop levels like back here. So, or maybe not quite here, but like maybe right here they would have had my troop levels. So, and then by the time here they would be like completely off the screen. So Scalaria had to be dealt with. And I was the only person in a position to do it, so I was the one that did it. And so, like, after that transition, then I was fighting basically everybody. You know, I had Ashdod dropping on top of Scalaria. I mean, I was getting messed with pretty much this whole time. So, you know, I don't think the answer was, like, fight them early. Because, like, the answer was you had to fight Scalaria early. And so then by the time they got around to messing with me, like, maybe Ashdod could have fought me while I was fighting Relay. That would have definitely been harder for me. But he also, Ashdod was busy finishing off the last bits of Satis. Right over here, right? So at this point, when Ashdod and I kind of fought a little bit and then made peace, he was finishing off Satis. And there was still like a tiny little bit of Satis resistance. He had to siege this stuff down. I also don't know if he had Flamestorm or the other tech he would need to even have a shot at fighting me. And he probably also... I think the thing is, like, for Ashdod, when he made peace with me, he needed to go make hay. I think he kind of sat there a little bit. Like, after the Satis War, he had to go do something. Like, if he was, like, this big by this point, it would have been maybe okay. But I think that's the thing. Like, if you're plateauing like this, it's bad news. Bad news. And I was plateaued here, but that was because I was in a prolonged war with Relay. And yes. Right, I wasn't plateaued because I wasn't fighting. Ashdod was, I think, mostly plateaued from not fighting. Though he might have picked some things off of Yes, it looks like. Maybe not. Anyway, that's the province graph. There were kind of 4 other mini powers. And I was in position 1. But I do want to say, I think, like, pop kill matters a lot. Like, probably try to take down a pop kill nation by the mid-game, or at least cripple them. The problem with doing that is that some people are going to get fresh land, and some people are going to get, like, despoiled land. And it's really hard to organize a coalition around that. So, I don't know. That's one thing. The other thing is, if you have somebody that's very, very clearly in position 1 for provinces, you got to be pretty mindful of that. Be pretty careful. Or income. Income, we'll look at forts first. Forts, you can see we kind of were off the charts. Income, well, let's look at forts a little bit more. Relay was in a position 2 for that. While they were fighting me, this was the period of our war, they didn't invest more in forts. But other people were investing more, such that by the time that our war ended, he wasn't really far ahead of the other players in terms of forts anymore. Income, you can see... Let's get rid of some of the people who died reasonably early and leave only the 5 big players at the end. Okay, here we go. Income, you can see we were bottom of the barrel. Here we got really close to 0. I think this was after the war with Relay, once we had Jotunheim, but our income from Scalaria had died, and yeah. We had some points where we were very poor this game. Gym income, we're not going to be able to see everybody else. I'm sure everybody else is probably like down here. We were probably number one in gym income by a mile, even though they had globals. Maybe not by a mile, because of the globals, they might have been a little closer. And by the end, they would have been down here. But probably, yeah, I don't know. I bet you there were some that were kind of like right here, and then it kind of went back down a little bit. And then maybe like that. Maybe they kind of plateaued around here. Research, we were bottom of the barrel. Dominion, that kind of just maps to our province size. Army size, you can see we were just going absolutely bonkers. I mean, this was probably like the devastating defeat at some of these thrones with flames from the sky, and it was like a minor downtick. I wonder if we can see the relay stuff. God, I can't really even tell the relay flames from the sky. That's kind of what I was looking for in here. So this might have been that first flames from the sky, or maybe this one. I don't know. They were kind of getting munched here at the end. Though a lot of this also was probably just like bleed off of troops from not having any income. So anyway, that's it, boys. That is the game. And yeah, this is how you play a dirty, dirty pop kill. Or it's one way to play it. There's a lot of ways to play it. You can play Ermor where you're more aggressive and you don't do this like slower fort build out. But I don't know. There's good and bad things about it. This is how we played it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for staying through to the end of the series. In terms of what we've got coming up next, I've got a bunch of games where I kind of lose. I guess, too, I'll just go ahead and say, there's some games that aren't going up because I didn't really play them myself the whole time. I had a game with Asphodel, which was kind of cool. I made it to the late game. I think I was actually the biggest at the end by a tiny bit, but we ended up calling it a draw because somebody went for a throne rush, and then we all pulled together to block it. And then by the time it was over, we kind of didn't want to finish playing it out. It was pretty deep in the late game. And we just felt so victorious after having stopped the throne rush. And I was not the person throne rushing. I was part of the coalition of people blocking it. So anyway, that was a kind of cool game, but that was a draw. I might play Asphodel again. That was fun. And then I played Late Age Relay, which Asphodel and Relay are kind of like really bad nations traditionally. And that was also cool. We also made it to the late game there. We were probably position 2, maybe position 1. I think we were position 2. We also called that a draw. It went super deep in the late game, and it was going to be just like 30 more turns. It was going to be like a 130 turn game or something. We were like, let's not. So I don't think I would have won either of those games. I don't think. But you never know. I was playing pretty hard. Once it gets that late, like the time it takes to do turns is pretty intense. And I think we weren't having fun anymore. So that's kind of why we stopped it. But I don't think I would have won. I think if everybody played hard, which people were doing, I think I probably would have lost. But I was in a really good position. So those were kind of two fun nations. I just had a game with Vanheim. I'm probably going to put part of that up. I think I want to play Vanheim again. Because I actually got crushed that game. I was kind of irrelevant by the end, which has only happened a few times where I just feel completely irrelevant. Like it happened in my Macone game. And Vanheim's a good nation. I messed up in my build and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to put that up, but know that everything you see in it, take with a grain of salt, because I think I have this awesome build, and then I end up getting completely trounced. And you'll probably figure out why. But anyway, that series may be coming up shortly after this. I got a blitz with clowns where we play against DE nations, where it's not very balanced. Every time I play DE, I have a really bad not DE, NatGen. It's a bunch of NatGen nations. Every time I play NatGen, I have a really bad experience. It's probably we don't have the settings right or something, but I don't know. I always get completely cheesed by something. Anyway, but the Clown Nation is really cool. So we'll watch that. That's pretty cool. That will probably be coming up. It may actually come up before this video starts. We'll see. And then I think the final thing that I have is I have a game with Ubar, which is a kind of crazy game. So I think we'll be putting that up. Anyway, so that's probably what's coming next on the channel. I might have missed one or two series. I got to go back through and look through my videos, see if I have any other archived games to put up. But thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the series, and I will see you next time. Cheers.